Welcome back, traders. Right now we are looking at Coinbase Global. This is a little different than what I usually talk about, but it is a crypto related stock with a lot of potential. Let's have a look at their chart, do some technical analysis, and see what that has to tell us today. So the thing I'm seeing right here is just like on most of my Bitcoin miner charts, I am seeing a shoulder, head, shoulder. So head and shoulder pattern. And as you can see, we've got this one here, and then this one formed here. And if we go to like the neckline here, we're looking about right there. That is our neckline here. We're currently below that neckline. Let me clean this up a bit. And that is negative, that is bad. We came through this support here, that support is gone. Next support on this thing, let's take a look at the volume profile. We are in some empty space here on the volume profile. So this thing could come all the way down to $100. Honestly, we'll get some support around 108. And if we go beyond 105, we're coming down to 90, maybe even $80. So this little zone here around $100 is entirely possible. And that is honestly a little bit exciting because I sold my Coinbase. I bought it around 60. I bought it when it was basing down here around between, 60 and 80. I sold around 150, and I didn't realize it was going to go way up to nearly $200 when I did that, but that's okay. I'm expecting it to come back down to around this top here, around 110, 112, pause for a minute, and then come down into the $100 range based on the volume profile, based on this structure here that we're seeing. If we bring in the three SMAs and the Bollinger Bands, if we look at them, let me show you what I have. It's the 5, the 13, and the 50 that I have for the SMAs, and the Bollinger Band is just standard. We have crossed, the 5 has crossed under the 20 here on January 4th. So we are colliding with the 50-day right now as of the last trading day. We'll see what happens here. We're at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, so we could see a little bit of a pop up to the 5-day at 160 and then a continuation down from there. That's what I would expect at this point, maybe even just staying flat here for a little bit and then going further down. Let's bring up the Keltner channels as well to see what those look like. So we are not in a squeeze currently. Let's see if we are on a smaller time frames. What about 2 hours? We were in a squeeze here that started on January 9th and ended on January 10th, where we broke down big and we broke out of that squeeze here, and we're currently outside of it. As you can see, that squeeze right here, we had a Keltner channel, Bollinger Band squeeze right in there, and that ended here to the downside right after that. So I'm expecting further downward movement on Coinbase. Honestly, I think it's going to give us some nice prices here. Yeah, even on the hourly, it came down there. I think we're going to see that happen here. We might see a bit of a test of the neckline here around the 140 to 142 range-ish, maybe even touch the 5-day here at 150-ish. But we will continue down further based on what I'm seeing here right now. And if you go on to stockinvest.us, I like coming on here. It likes to analyze pivot points and give you analysis based on pivot points. Currently, the little highlighted part I have here is that Coinbase, they had a sell signal from a pivot point top on Thursday, December 28th, and so far has fallen nearly 30% from that pivot point. Further fall is indicated until a new bottom pivot point has been found, so it's just looking negative. You can also see that insiders have been selling their shares of Coinbase right now, so currently things are pretty negative for Coinbase. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to own Coinbase. It just means that I am currently waiting for the price to get more attractive for me to get into Coinbase. I think Coinbase will do exceptionally well going into the future, especially in the next 2 years, since Coinbase is the sole custodian of basically every American spot ETF for Bitcoin, meaning that all of the Bitcoin from all the spot ETFs is going to be held by Coinbase. And when that happens, like when we start seeing actual inflows of money into Bitcoin for that, guess where else money's going to go? It's going to go to Coinbase because we're going to see a pretty significant supply shock on Bitcoin probably So in my mind, this stock is worth significantly more than it is right now, but it has room to fall before it starts that move up, and I would like to catch it at the bottom, not in the middle or the top. And if we go back into looking at Coinbase when it came out, I mean, this when it IPO'd, we're talking about a $428 stock. It got some support in this area here between 278 and 226, which is not too far above where we currently are. Right now, we came up to here. We formed a bowl. If you look at this, oh, we formed a bowl. Look at this. All right, so right here, we have got a bowl, and we're making a handle right now. This handle could go down to about $100 before it's too far. Yeah, we could see $100, and that would still be a handle. And if it starts bouncing up off 100, I'd expect that to be a cup and handle move on the weekly chart, which is a huge bullish sign for the overall stock going into the future. Like if this ends up coming up, being a bull, and then a handle here, if that handle stops, let's say right here-ish, or let's put it right about there, 105-ish, if that handle stops right there and bounces there, that would be so bullish. So I like that actually. I'm waiting. Coinbase, I'd like to own a few shares of Coinbase. I'm not going to go too hard on Coinbase. It is an expensive stock. So, but I do think that once we get down to this level here, we're going to be oversold, even on the weekly time frame. And from there, we're probably going to take off and start looking at this zone up here in the 200s. If we're really lucky, maybe even into the 300s up here. I'm thinking, I mean, honestly, right around this area here is my ultimate goal. This little box, 350 to 367. That's my ultimate goal. Looking at Coinbase going into the future. But first, I think we're going to come down to around $100, maybe it's 104, 105. I think that's going to be first, and then later, maybe 2 years from now, we'll be up here. That's a long, long outlook here, but that is pretty clear cut. If this holds and it just kind of like starts losing steam on the way down, it starts going sideways, that's going to look a lot like a handle. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, a lot like this was a handle. Okay, so let me show you the handle here. So we've got a cup right here. This was a cup. Handle went sideways for a bit and then rocket. I'm thinking we're going to see a very similar move like this play out now on a much larger scale. So we'll be like just like this cup. We're going to do our handle. We're going to do a little bit of sideways action, and then we're going to start taking off. I think that's what Coinbase is going to do based on this chart. But short term, we're looking bearish. Short term, we're looking bad. Short term, we're looking like we're going to come down to this 100, 105 range, test that, see how much strength it has. If it breaks below that, we're going to be doing really bad. If it breaks below $100, we're probably going to come back down to this $60, $70 range. Where this support is, if that support breaks, we're going all the way down to like $50 again if those things break. But if we get this momentum to slow down, pause around the $100, $105 range, and then start moving back up, I think that's going to be a big explosive move up going into the future. And I think that Coinbase does have a bright future being the sole custodian of all of those spot Bitcoin ETFs in the United States. So they are going to be a huge beneficiary of that whole dynamic. Keep an eye on Coinbase. I definitely have alerts set here. In fact, I'm going to set an alert right now. Let's see here. Can I make an alert? Add an alert on this horizontal ray. We're going to say only once if it crosses down beneath it. And that's going to be when they cross down horizontal ray. Yep. Create. All right. I'm going to be alerted when that gets down there. And I'm going to take a very serious look at Coinbase and think about buying not tons, but you know, a good amount of shares that whatever I can afford at the time. I might be all tapped out possibly by the time that happens. So we'll see. But that's Coinbase. I think, yeah, I think we've got another 30, 35% down we could go. And from there, we're gonna probably revisit in the coming year or two, probably revisit this this zone in the 2 to 300s. Now it's not going to be a quick trade. This is a long time. I mean, if you that would be a long trade. I don't think it's going to immediately go back up there. It might immediately go back up to 130 or 140. That would be pretty cool and a pretty significant increase from $100. That's 30-40%. But if you are willing to hold for a few years, yeah, we're looking at a lot more money going into the future. As long as these Bitcoin ETFs, do well, and I think that they probably will do fairly decent. Anyways, that's Coinbase right now. Again, this is not a financial advice in any way, nor a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever, but just what I'm seeing when I look at this chart and what thoughts I have as I'm analyzing this chart. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.